it's hard to figure out all by yourself. Just enjoy the process, get creative with it, don't put so much pressure on yourself. DM them, just literally DM them. Sometimes people won't respond. I still have people that don't respond to me, but like, it's also not the best framing because it's tilted down. Like, don't also be so attached to the rules that you're scared to get creative and try your own thing. I always look back to those inspiring videos because anybody that wants to be different or do their own thing is always going to face judgment, and you just have to remember that. You have nothing to lose, really. Hey guys, I'm Lexi. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm finally getting to the video. You guys sent in a ton of questions on Instagram like a month ago. I'm sorry, it's been a very hectic month. I'm gonna answer all of your questions about Instagram, how to grow your Instagram, how to have an aesthetic feed, and also at the end of this video, I'm gonna show you a few screen recordings and talk you through how I frame my photos for my Instagram content. It's super important. I feel like it separates like amateur photos from like good photos. And also I'm gonna show you how I get good lighting for my photos. That's really important. Like, that changes the game for photos. Hopefully, if you guys are interested in that, you'll watch to the end and subscribe, then turn on the notification bell. I'm just gonna wait while you do that. Give it a thumbs up. Okay, now that you did all that, let's get into the video.
Do you edit your pictures so they match, like the lighting and coloring? Because I'm struggling to get mine to match at the moment. Any tips will be helpful.
Yeah. Of course I do. Yeah, I always edit my photos with the same filter, or sometimes I'll switch up the filter that I use. Like, I use VSCO filters a lot, and so for a certain season of the year, like in summer, I'll use V5. So I'll always go between 0 and 3 for the filter, and I usually won't go anything above that because it's just, I don't want it to look like I have a filter on my photos. I want it to be really subtle, but that's just my personal aesthetic. You guys can do it however you want, but yeah, I'll always use the same filter just to kind of make all of the tones and the lighting and the temperature of the photo even. I'm still figuring out winter.
That's good.
So I'm figuring it out a lot of times. Right now I'm just going into Lightroom and just upping the temperature of the photo a little bit depending on what time of day it was taken so that they all match. Like, if I'm doing a lot of golden hour tones or like late afternoon pics, then I will, you know, increase the temperature by like 5-ish, but like nothing too crazy. It's all super subtle because I want it to look really natural but still match.
Hi, I'm wondering if you could make a video on how you take your own Instagram photos. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so a lot of times I'll either have my boyfriend take the photos or Morgan, my assistant, who's sitting like right there. That's who I keep staring at. Or I'll have a friend take them, like Jamie. If you guys don't know her, she's my Instagram buddy. So if I'm not with somebody though, I will carry around a tripod and a little clicker, a Bluetooth clicker, and I'll just hook my camera up to it. But yeah, I'll link the tripod and the Bluetooth clicker that I use here. I used to have like a really little crappy tripod, and that's just not the way to go. If you're gonna get a tripod and take pics of yourself, you're definitely just gonna wanna invest in a full-size one. It's really frustrating trying to balance the tripod on top of other objects and to try and make it work when you could just get a good product the first time around. So I'll link my favorites. Never use the selfie facing camera. I don't know if it's called the front or back. Don't use the selfie facing camera. The quality is not nearly as good. For video, just a quick note, whenever I take video in like low light or of the city sparkling or something, the way to get the sparkles to show up the most and just get the little intricate details is to shoot it in 4K and then at 60p. So 30p is good if you're not gonna slow it down, but 60p is good because it's the amount of frames per second, and the more frames per second that you have, the higher quality it'll look if you slow down the speed.
How did you get into content creation?
Ooh, okay, so I moved to LA after college. I studied advertising in college, and when I moved to LA, I wanted to act, model. I was doing stand-up comedy, and in LA, they always say it's important to grow your social media following no matter what you want to do if you're going to work in the entertainment business. So I was just kind of taking pictures for fun, and my best friend, Jamie, she was already doing blogging, and she worked for a PR agency with influencers, and so she knew the ins and outs of everything, and we just started taking pictures together every weekend, and eventually I decided I wanted to move in that direction. So it kind of was like a natural transition.
Hi Lexi, I don't know if you'll see this, but I'm trying to build my Instagram like you, and I follow so many people that have the same aesthetic, but I have no idea where to start. Also, I want to post pictures of my clothing and get brands to recognize me. Can you give me some tips or starters?
Oh my gosh, so many tips. Okay, so where to start? I always go to Pinterest for inspiration, and I'll look at those girls' accounts that you follow. Like if they have an aesthetic that you like, just create a mood board of everything that you love and want to get pictures of yourself. So that way, like, it'll come easier to you when you always have it in the back of your mind and you know what you're going for when the moment comes. But also I would say find a buddy to take pictures with, and also just be looking for inspiration everywhere you go. Like, I'll go into a hotel or a lunch spot and I'll see a pretty chandelier and I'll just know, oh, that would look good in my Instagram feed because the colors are in sync or in line with my current color palette, and it's a very similar aesthetic to what I'm going for. So just kind of always keep it in the back of your mind, always be looking for inspiration. That's number one. And then number two is just like knowing how to capture the moment and take the photos, and honestly that just comes with practice. And also towards the end of this video I'll show you like the framing that I use and go by for half body photos, full body, and how I do like those cool zoomed in shots. A lot of people don't talk about this, and it's definitely a big trend right now, so hopefully that helps as well.
I want to post pictures of my clothing and get brands to recognize me, so can you please give me some tips or starters?
Tag the brand whenever you post the photos, for sure. Always tag them in your stories, and if you want the brand to notice you, it'd be helpful if you got content for them that is in line with the aesthetic that they have. So like Princess Polly, they have like a really cool girl, trendy, almost like filmy vibe that they use a lot. And so when you're getting content, maybe save a few of their images for inspiration beforehand and try to mimic it. And another way to get noticed by big brands or just people on Instagram in general is to get reposted. And so if you guys look at my posts, in every single post I always tag like 15 to 20 Inspo accounts. Inspo accounts are just massive accounts, like they have big followings on Instagram. They're like mood boards, yeah, and they repost all of like the best content or the content that they love onto their page with that aesthetic that their page is. And so I always go and tag the relevant ones in my post, and that's a great way to get noticed and to get more exposure just by Instagram in general. I keep a big spreadsheet on Excel. I used to do it in Notes, that works too, of just like all of the top accounts that I want to be tagging at that time, just so that I don't have to memorize them in my head and end up tagging just the same 10 every day. Like, it's good to have a sheet of them just to see the variety that you can use.
What is your opinion on hashtags?
I don't think you need to use all 30, and I think hashtags worked a while ago, but I don't know how well they work now. I go more in depth about hashtags in a video that I did this summer talking all about like the strategy behind how to grow your Instagram, so I'll link the video here.
Okay, is there anything specifically that you do that helps you grow? I feel like I'm barely growing.
Honestly, just spending a lot of time on Instagram, engaging with your followers and other people who don't follow you. Maybe like you just want to get the attention of new people, so I'll go and comment on photos on the Explore page that I like, or just engage with new accounts that I haven't seen before, because I assume that they probably haven't seen me either. And just spending a lot of time on the app. Instagram rewards you with the amount of time that you spend on it. So if you just post and then log off for the day, you probably won't grow. I really like to engage with my audience too by just like sharing the love. If they comment on my photos a lot, I'll go to their page and I will comment on a few of my favorite photos of theirs, just to give back, I guess, or like I said, share the love. And also just anytime I post, for the first hour after the post, I'll try to go on and respond to any comments I get on that post. Any questions about linking things, I'll try and respond to right away. So honestly, just building a strong community with your followers and just building that relationship there, not treating those people like numbers, but treating them like actual people. I think that really helps.
How many days in advance do you schedule your posts?
We sometimes like a full week in advance. advance, and sometimes I can get super last minute about it, and then it's like a fire drill the day of, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to find a photo to post. I highly recommend, if you're gonna have an aesthetic feed, to plan it like a week in advance, honestly, so that you're not scrambling to upload something and then it just doesn't look as good as it could. But I mean, sometimes it is the day of.
Do you mainly earn your income from paid collabs, or do you do other services too?
Yeah, like 90% of it is from paid collabs, but I also get like the YouTube revenue, but it's like not that much. It's like not that much. And then also I'll get commission on certain, Poshmark is a little bit, and then like commission from Like to Know It, but all of that stuff is just like little side stuff. And I have my Poshmark because I know that you guys would like to buy my clothes, and I always need to be cleaning out my closet. It's not like that's my main source of income. It's definitely brand deals. If you guys are like looking for more ways to make money on it, on just social media in general, you can also start an Amazon storefront. You can start Depop. There's like a ton of little ways to grow. You can sell your presets if you have presets, and just like little things add up over time.
How old were you when you started your Instagram journey?
23. Yeah, I was 23.
What is your long-term goal?
Ooh, so many long-term goals. Like, I just want to expand past just having Instagram be my thing. Like, I would love to create a bigger brand out of this. I would love to have a podcast and like do more with my YouTube channel. I'd love to have merch and like my own clothing line, maybe my own beauty brand. Like, I don't know, I just would love to create a ton of little things out of it. And I do want to create an Instagram social media course for you guys too, because it's hard to figure out all by yourself. And so the minute I have a chance to like sit down and create like the most detailed outline ever for you guys, I'm going to, because like that's just something that's been on my list of long-term goals for a while now.
How to successfully close on brand deals?
Okay, so I actually have management right now, but when I was doing it myself, I would say one of the biggest things is to always follow up with the brand, like maybe like twice every 48 hours, I would say, if they're not responding to you. If they don't respond, basically, don't think that they're just ghosting you. They probably just forgot, or the email got lost in their inbox. So to always follow up at like, and be prompt about it. Don't just let the email sit there for a week. The social media world is so different from traditional business. I know, like, when I worked in finance for a half a second, they would say wait a week to follow up. If you wait a week to follow up with social media and influencer collaborations, they'll probably forget about you by that point. So be prompt, be nice, and just be easy to work with.
How to convert real views into followers? I get lots of views, but no one follows me.
Post consistently, but like besides posting consistently, I always think about it as like the 3-second rule. When somebody clicks on your page from a video or a photo that gets viewed, they have to fall in love with your page and see value in following you within those first 3 seconds, or even 0.3 seconds, because if they look at your page and their immediate reaction inside is meh, then they're just gonna leave your page and like go back to their Instagram feed. So you want to make sure that your first impression for anybody that views your page is good. So that's where like the aesthetic of the page comes in, and just like the consistency of the type of content comes into play. Because if you have one video go viral, but then somebody goes to your page and you have no other videos similar to the one that they fell in love with, they probably won't follow. Think of it as having a niche, and there's like, you can always have a few content pillars. So like my content pillars would be fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. And under lifestyle, of course, like healthy eating and workouts can come in there, but like I'm not branding myself as like a gym girl necessarily, but like healthy lifestyle and healthy living and workouts are all part of that, but it's something smaller that falls under the lifestyle category. And then fashion and beauty, so it all kind of comes together, but I wouldn't say have more than 3 content pillars at a time, because otherwise your page will just look crazy and you'll be spreading yourself too thin. And of course you can always evolve and change your content pillars, but I would say stick to 3 at a time max.
Where do you find paid collaborations?
Yeah, just reach out to brands. Like, all brands have a marketing budget. Some pour more of their budget into influencer collaborations. Some might just do gifting. But honestly, at the beginning, I just reached out to so many people, and they would either work with me on a gifting basis, and then after I work with with them for a while with just gifting and creating content for free, then they would maybe offer a paid collaboration, or I would ask about it, and then we would move on to working together on a more like official partnership basis. But just reach out if there's a brand that is on your radar that you want to work with.
Can you do a YouTube video - go in more in depth about feed planning? Yours is always so aesthetic.
I will definitely do a more in-depth video, but I'm gonna try to like give you a good overview right now. So basically, I will batch my content, which means kind of just like loading up on a ton of content whenever I can. So for example, when me and Morgan went to New York, I started planning my outfits a few weeks in advance, and I was like, okay, what is my color scheme gonna be? Because if you have outfits of just every single color, it's just, you're gonna start off like, you're not setting yourself up for success when it comes to having an aesthetic feed. So you want to make sure you're sticking to, you know, neutrals and then maybe 1 or 2 additional colors, or you don't have to add in additional colors like pastels or primary colors. You can just get rid of that altogether if you want to keep it simple. So for New York, I did all neutrals, and that was super helpful to have when it came to creating the feed afterwards. So I would shoot like 20 different outfits in New York. And after the trip, I went home, I started going through all of the content, adding them into a feed, and then kind of moving them around and seeing what would look the best. Other than the colors, I think it's really important to have 1 or 2 presets that you use, so that all of the photos, you can put the preset over it, and then it'll all look more cohesive in terms of like colors and tones and all of that. Other than that, I think it's important to have framing, like a variety of framing, so you don't want to have all half body images. That lacks dimension in your photos. So you want to make sure when you're kind of planning the feed and the squares next to each other, you want to make sure you don't have 2 half body images on top of each other or next to each other. So you want to have like a half body, a detail shot, like something close up, and then maybe like a far away shot. And then every single look we shoot, we always keep in mind to do a few half body shots, so I have something to post of that, and then a full body shot, and maybe like an atmosphere shot too, where I'm super far away. And then we always get a few detail shots as well. And then of course, like I mentioned earlier, like when you have your aesthetic and your color palette in mind for that month or those, you know, that week or so, anytime I go anywhere, I'll be looking around for things that would match that aesthetic. So I'd be like, oh, you know, like the background behind me, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like you could see like the golden lights. If I had yellow in my feed, I would take some pictures of that right now. Like I would know in my head, okay, I can tie in that yellow to, you know, a yellow outfit that I brought or something. So it's just like always thinking and planning ahead. It's so helpful to have things planned out. When you're first starting out, I would say just shoot a ton of content, like a few months worth, honestly, and then you'll find that the more content that you have, the easier it is to go into your photo archive and use like filler photos or random detail shots that you have to keep the feed looking cohesive as you transition in and out of seasons and colors and tones and everything. And like also, like I mentioned earlier, kind of bringing that back, like if I go out somewhere and I see a pretty chandelier, I'm just gonna take a picture of it. Even if I don't have to post it that second, like I'll add it to a little album called like filler content to use later. And so that way I can go into my little album of all my different filler photos or whatever and just have them there just in case I need a photo for later. And a lot of times for my reel covers, even if I don't have a photo in the outfit that I'm wearing in the reel, I can use like a random filler pic or whatever. Like even if it's like a pic of the ocean or the sunset to kind of tie in the pastel colors, like you never know when it's going to come in handy. So anytime you see something that you think is pretty or cool looking, just take a picture. It doesn't hurt to have 1,000 or even 200,000 photos in your camera roll, because that's what I have at this point, but it always comes in handy to just have variety. Oh yeah, so for reel covers, obviously it's important to make sure your reel cover is in line with the aesthetic of your feed too, and it fits, which is why I brought up that the reel cover doesn't have to be your outfit. I always make sure that my reel covers are fitting for my feed. Another tip is that if you don't have a reel cover for your feed now in this moment, it's fine, because Instagram their update, you can change the reel cover whenever. So incredible. Like, I just found that out.
How do you tie in sponsored content with your feed?
I think it really just takes time to like build something up. Like, you guys, I have accessories in every single color. Like, if I have one hat in one color that is my aesthetic, I have it in every single color. So if there's a sponsored post, like if I have a white mirror, I'll have the same one in pink, because pink is a color I use a lot in my photos. So just to like have little things like that, accessories and outfits, just to be able to tie it in. So even if there is a certain skincare product that I have to incorporate into my feed for that week, I will tie in an accessory of the color palette that I'm working with currently in my feed to make sure it still kind of goes and is cohesive, if that makes sense. Also, I want to say, you guys are probably like, okay, what if I can't afford all the accessories? Amazon has such good affordable accessories. I have a whole Amazon storefront page of all of my accessories, and you guys, like, I'm not kidding, like, I have arm puff accessories in all different colors, I have hats in all different colors, I have literally even phone cases. Like, if you guys have to take a mirror selfie of you with a beauty product, it helps to have a phone case in every single different color that you use on your feed, because that's a great way to tie it in.
Do you think that having an aesthetic feed is needed to grow your platform?
It kind of depends on what you're doing. Like, if you are posting funny videos or fitness tips or like food or something, I don't think it's as important, because you're adding value in another way and people are following you for something else. But I think that when people are looking to you for like aesthetic or beautiful images or inspiring images, something that makes people feel a certain way, or even just like an aesthetic style, then yeah, I think it definitely is important, because it goes back to the 3-second rule of when people click on your image that they may have seen on the Explore page, if they don't see a feed that fits the aesthetic, then they probably won't follow you. So yeah, I would say it just depends on the style of content.
One of my problems is worrying about what everyone I know will think about me. How do I get over that?
Oh, that hits. I mean, it's tough. I had to move to another city. Like, I tried to do this in Chicago for a half a second, and I knew, I was like, there's no way. There's just no way I'll be able to really go after this and do what I want. So I moved to LA, because in LA, nobody thinks poorly of you. Same with New York, I noticed. Like, people don't think poorly of you when it's like a big city and everybody's doing their own thing and pursuing their dreams. If you can't move and you really love it and it's what you know you want to do, honestly, like, this might not be what everybody wants to hear, but like, you need to kind of find the people that are going to be supportive of it and spend more time with them. Spend your time with other creative people who are also wanting to maybe build their platform. You can make friends, like, just DM somebody, you know, another small creator maybe that is interested in taking photos. That's how me and Jamie met. I was looking for a friend to do this with, and she was too, and that we just hit it off immediately. But you know, for the people who don't necessarily understand what you're trying to do, that's okay. You just have to remember, one day, like, they'll probably come back to you and be like, hey, like, oh my gosh, you're doing so well, like, your page is amazing. Like, everybody goes through this moment of growth when they're trying to do something different than everybody else, where they're gonna face judgment. And like, there's actually a really good video from Ray Lewis.
Whatever you want to go do it. Nobody determines that but you. But whatever majority of people was doing, I found myself doing the opposite of what they was doing, because I wanted to chase something great.
A football player, you guys probably don't know him. I always look back to those inspiring videos, because anybody that wants to be different or do their own thing is always going to face judgment, and you just have to remember that.
How do you make connections with other influencers?
DM them, just literally DM them. Sometimes people won't respond. I still have people that don't respond to me, but like, it doesn't matter, you know, you're not going to win every person over. So just DM people if you want to be friends with them, and if you want to make a connection with them or collaborate with them. You have nothing to lose, really.
Do brands approach influencers for sponsorships, or is it vice versa?
Both. It goes both ways. In the beginning, I reached out to a ton of brands. Like I would have days where I just reached out to like all of the brands I wanted to work with. I would save a folder on Instagram, like brands I want to reach out to, or brands to reach out to. And I would just reach out to all of them in a day. And then I would have my follow-up days, like, you know, later that week. And so don't wait to be reached out to. Just reach out to a brand if you want to. And keep your email in your Instagram bio too, so that they can reach out to you and find you easily. Okay, hi. Back from dinner. And I'm gonna show you guys how to frame your photos. Okay, so if you guys look, I put the grid on my phone, and here's a little screen recording of how to add the grid to your photos. So make sure that you have that on. It's really helpful when having somebody shoot with you, especially somebody that doesn't really have like an eye developed for photography yet. I always turn it on, like for Alex, for example, and like it really was helpful for Morgan, like having her like get to know like the different areas that I should be in the frame and shouldn't be. So if you look at the grid, there's 9 squares. The top row, you never want your head to be in the top row. It makes you look shorter, and it kind of creates like a weird perspective of the photo. So you always want your head to be below the top horizontal line. And then for a full body shot where your feet are showing, you want your feet to be at the bottom of it, but make sure you don't cut off your feet, but also make sure that there isn't extra space from the end of the photo frame to your feet, because if there's a lot of space in between, it makes you look shorter too. Like if your feet are just touching the end of the frame, it'll kind of create an illusion that your legs go past the frame, like it'll elongate your legs, I guess. If you notice, my upper body is a lot bigger than my lower body in this frame, and that's because the phone is being tilted down. So if you want to make yourself look taller and longer, you don't want to tilt it downward on somebody. Like if this was the iPhone, you wouldn't want it to be like that. You would either want it to be straight on or like a little bit backwards when you're shooting. So that's definitely a game changer. This next frame, we're looking at the lighting here, and so it's kind of overexposed. So what you want to do is you want to tap the frame on your face and then lower the light just a little bit. There's also weird light rays coming in from the side, and something you can do to fix that is, if this is the phone in the camera lens, you just hold your hand over the top to get rid of the rays coming in. To get good light on your face, you want the light to always be in front of you. Side light is okay. It's not the best though. It's not the best beauty lighting. There's a reason that people film videos going directly in front of ring lights, because it creates a really nice light and it's really flattering on the face. These that I'm taking here against like the balcony area, these are backlit. You cannot see my face at all. It's just like really harsh shadows on my face. So it's definitely not good beauty lighting. It's also not the best framing because it's tilted down and there's a lack of head space and foot space. So now in these photos, we're going to open shade, which is my favorite for beauty lighting. Basically, if there is light coming in and then there's like a shaded, like a parking garage or something where there's a roof over you, but there's light on the other side, you just stand right at the edge of the shaded area and the light will hit you so nice and soft. It's like the best lighting for photos of like your face or just like clean lighting in general. And then also you see in the framing here, it's right above my knees. I prefer it right above my knees instead of right below my knees because I think knees are like ugly. But like you can go right below your knees if you want to. And so I'll do right above my kneecaps, and then you can see that my head is below the top horizontal line, so that when it crops into a 4x5 photo for Instagram, you won't have like your head cut off or anything. Your head will be in the center of the frame in the feed when you look at it, which always like looks nice and clean. It also helps if you have the person taking the photos view, if you turn on the sound so that you can hear the click timing. Like if you get into a rhythm of like click, 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 or you can go slower or faster. That way you know like how to pose. You get into a rhythm with moving and it's not like so hectic and chaotic. And also when you're posing, try to be as natural as possible. It really helps to hold something. If you don't know what to do with your hands, just like hold a purse, go get Starbucks, hold a coffee, hold your sunglasses, use your friend's cell phone and just pretend to text. Like that's really trendy right now too. You could, you know, play with your hair, you could be looking away, you could be getting your car keys out, putting on lip gloss. Like the options are endless, but it always helps to just be doing a simple small action like that, so it looks like, you know, it's a natural moment that was taken and not like you're posing with your hand on your hip or something. Also, if you notice, sometimes my body's facing away from the light, but I'll always bring my face back towards the light to get a really nice, like, to just get really nice light on your face. Because if you're not working with the light, like if the sun's up here and then your face is looking down, you're gonna get really harsh shadows and it's not gonna be flattering on your face. You just learn over time what works for you and what doesn't. People have sides, and like until you take a ton of photos or take a ton of videos, you're gonna be like, I don't think I have a good side or a bad side, or like, you know, people get to know their poses over time. So I've been doing this like every day for 3 years. So just be patient with yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Have fun with it, and it will all kind of just come naturally over time. Just enjoy the process. Get creative with it. Don't put so much pressure on yourself that like every time you shoot, it's just like a terrible experience. It definitely helps to just like keep an open mindset and just enjoy it. You can do details. What I like to do for details recently is just I'll have Morgan or whoever's taking them just take regular half body or full body images, and if I see a photo that I think looks cool, like of my midsection, like where I'm grabbing something or it's like kind of blurry, maybe like my torso looks good but my face doesn't, I will literally just crop in the image, especially because like out of focus and low quality photos are kind of like trendy right now. So I work with whatever I have and I'll just crop those photos in. But like just get creative with it. Like a lot of times I would crop in photos that technically weren't supposed to be detail shots. Like don't also be so attached to the rules that you're scared to get creative and try your own thing, because you do have to experiment a little, and if you don't experiment at all, you might not ever get anywhere or find what differentiates you. Yeah, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be doing these more often on my channel, so make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you always know when a new tips video comes out. That's it. Love you guys. Yay! Bye. We done. I'm gonna go have a glass of wine now.